I was working at a traditional French restaurant in Lyon. A British couple came in and sat down. The waiter brought them the menu, which featured classic French dishes like coq au vin, bœuf bourguignon, and escargot. The man looked at it, frowned, and said, "Have you got anything that's not French? Maybe a nice steak and kidney pie or some bangers and mash?" The waiter explained that we're a French restaurant in France. The woman said, "Yes, but surely you cater to British tourists. We can't eat all this rich, fancy stuff. It'll upset our stomachs." Her husband asked if we could just do him some plain chicken with no sauce. The chef refused. They left and went to McDonald's, then posted a review saying French restaurants are inflexible and don't understand customer service. I work at a restaurant in Thailand. A British family came in and I handed them the menu. The father looked at it and immediately said, "Is any of this not spicy?" I explained that Thai cuisine typically includes chili, but we can adjust the spice level. He said, "No, I mean, is there anything that's just normal food, like a sandwich or fish and chips?" I told him we specialise in Thai food. His wife chimed in, "But the kids won't eat this. Don't you have chicken nuggets?" I said we could do a mild pad thai or fried rice. She shook her head and said they only eat plain food, chips, nuggets, that sort of thing. Why don't foreign countries just have a normal menu for British people? They ended up leaving and finding a place that served pizza. I was a waiter at a traditional Spanish tapas bar in Barcelona. A British couple ordered patatas bravas, jamón ibérico, and gambas al ajillo. When the food arrived, the man poked at the prawns and said, "These are covered in oil and garlic. I can't eat this. It's too greasy. Can you take them back and just grill them plain?" I explained that gambas al ajillo is cooked in olive oil and garlic. That's the dish. He said, "Well, that's disgusting. Who cooks like that?" His wife tried the jamón and made a face. She said, "This ham is raw. You haven't cooked it." I told her it's cured ham, a Spanish delicacy. She pushed the plate away and said, "I'm not eating raw meat. That's dangerous." This would never pass health and safety in England. They asked for the bill, paid, and told me Spanish food was overrated and unsafe. I work at an Indian restaurant in Mumbai. Yes, an Indian restaurant in India. A British tourist came in and asked for a curry. I asked which one he'd like. He said, "Just a normal curry, like you get from the takeaway, a chicken tikka masala." I explained that tikka masala isn't a traditional Indian dish and we don't serve it. He looked at me like I'd lost my mind and said, "What do you mean you don't serve it? You're an Indian restaurant. It's the most popular curry in the world." I told him it was actually invented in Britain. He refused to believe me and said, "No, it's Indian. It's called tikka masala. That's an Indian name. Just make it." I showed him our menu of authentic regional dishes. He said they all looked too complicated and left, telling his friends that even Indian restaurants in India aren't as good as the ones in Birmingham. I was working at a sushi restaurant in Tokyo. A British woman came in with her husband. She looked at the menu and said, "Do you have any cooked food? All of this is raw fish." I explained that sushi often features raw fish, but we also have cooked options like tempura and teriyaki. She said, "No, I mean proper cooked food, like a roast dinner or a jacket potato." I told her this is a sushi restaurant. She sighed heavily and said, "Why do the Japanese make everything so complicated? Just cook the fish normally." Her husband agreed and said, "Yeah, raw fish is a health risk. In England, we'd never serve this." They ordered chicken teriyaki, complained it was too salty, ate half, and left saying Japanese food wasn't filling enough. I work at a Greek taverna on a small island. A British couple sat down and I brought them the menu. The man said, "Right, what have you got that's not Greek?" I told him everything. "On the menu is Greek cuisine." He said, "Yeah, but what can I have that's just plain? I don't like olive oil or feta or any of that Mediterranean stuff." I suggested grilled chicken. He said, "But will it have seasoning on it?" I said, "We use lemon, oregano, and olive oil." He shook his head and said, "Can't you just do it plain? No oil, no herbs, nothing. Just grill." His wife said, "And I'll have chips, but not fried in olive oil. Do you have vegetable oil?" I explained that in Greece we use olive oil for everything. She said, "That's the problem with foreign food. It's all the same. Too oily, too much flavour." They ended up eating bread and complained there was no butter. I was working at a traditional Mexican restaurant in Mexico City. A British family came in. The father ordered tacos for the table. When they arrived, he looked at them and said, "Where's the hard shell? These are just floppy." I explained that authentic Mexican tacos use soft corn tortillas. He said, "No, real tacos have crunchy shells. I've had them at Taco Bell. These look wrong." His wife bit into one and said, This is too spicy, and I can taste coriander. I hate coriander. Can you remake them without coriander and make them not spicy?" I told her coriander and chili are fundamental to Mexican cuisine. She said, "Well, that's a shame because it ruins the whole thing." The kids refused to eat anything and asked for chicken nuggets. They left saying Mexican food was nothing like what they expected and we should offer British alternatives. I work at a Vietnamese restaurant in Hanoi. A British couple ordered pho. When the bowls arrived, the man looked at his and said, "What's all this green stuff floating in it?" I explained it was fresh herbs, Thai basil, coriander, Mint. He said, I don't want herbs in my soup. That's weird. Can you take them out? I told him the herbs are an essential part of pho. His wife tasted hers and said, this tastes like dishwater. Where's the flavour? Don't you have any seasoning? Salt, pepper, something normal? I showed her the condiments. Hoisin sauce, sriracha, lime. She said, no, I mean proper seasoning. This is all foreign stuff. They barely touched their food and told me Vietnamese cuisine was bland and strange. Which is ironic because they refused to use any of the flavour enhancers we provided. I was a waiter at a Moroccan restaurant in Marrakesh. A British couple ordered a tagine. When it arrived in the traditional clay pot, the woman said, why is it in a weird dish? Don't you have normal plates? I explained that tagine is both the dish and the name of the food. She said, well, it's impractical. How am I supposed to eat from this? Her husband tasted it and said, this has fruit in it. Why is there fruit in a meat dish? That's wrong. I told him that Moroccan cuisine often combines sweet and savoury. He said, yeah, but that's not how food works. You don't mix fruit and meat. That's just bizarre. In England, we keep things separate. Meat is savoury, fruit is for dessert. They asked if we could just do them some plain lamb chops with mint sauce. We couldn't. They left hungry and angry. I work at a German beer hall in Munich. A British man ordered schnitzel. When it arrived, he looked at it and said, this is massive. Why is it so big? Do you have a smaller portion? I told him schnitzel is traditionally a large cutlet. He said, well, I can't eat all this. It's wasteful. His wife ordered sauerkraut as a side and took one bite. She made a disgusted face and said, this tastes like vinegar. Is it off? I explained that sauerkraut is fermented cabbage. She said, fermented? That means it's gone bad. Why would you serve rotten food? I told her fermentation is a preservation method and perfectly safe. She refused to eat it and said, in England, we eat fresh vegetables, not rotten ones. They both complained that German portions were too big, the food was too heavy, and they'd have been better off at a Wetherspoons. I was working at a restaurant in South Korea. A British couple came in, and I recommended bibimbap. They ordered it. When it arrived, the man said, it's all mixed together. I like to see what I'm eating. Can you bring it separated on different plates? I explained that bibimbap means mixed rice, and you mix it yourself. He said, that's odd. Why would I want to mix my own food? His wife tried the kimchi side dish and immediately spat it into a napkin. She said, what is that? It's revolting. I told her it's fermented vegetables, a staple of Korean cuisine. She said, why is everything fermented? That's disgusting. Don't you have anything fresh and normal? They ordered fried chicken instead and said Korean food was too weird for British people. If you've enjoyed this collection of British tourists versus foreign food, give it a like and subscribe for more. Cheers.